at Drexel University Libraries. And to introduce Mr. Jay Bhatt, he possesses 4 MS degrees, which is a very rare and a brilliant achievement, and also in very interesting mix of subjects. Like he has masters in library information science from Drexel University. He has MS in education from University of Pennsylvania. MS in instructional design from Drexel University. Again, MS in electrical and computer engineering from Drexel University. A very interesting mix of subject disciplines. So we hope this is the reason for his today's topic on Google. And looking at his professional experience, again, he has been a liaison librarian at Haggerty Library, Drexel University. He was reference librarian at Abington Township Public Library. And he was the circulation supervisor at, again, Haggerty Library, Drexel University. And now he has been working as an adjunct faculty member in the College of Computing and Informatics, Drexel University, Philadelphia, since 2002. He is the recipient of many prestigious awards and recognitions, and a couple of such awards I would like to mention here. He received the Homer Bernhardt Distinguished Service Award from the Engineering Libraries Division of American Society for Engineering Education in 2010. And then in 2017, Jay received the Engineering Library of the Year Award from the Engineering Division of Special Libraries Associations. So, such a very distinguished speaker we have. So, friends, let us welcome Mr. Jay, handing over to Dr. Akhtar Parvez.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sri Kumar, and thank you for introducing Jay so well. And, it speaks volume about Jay's distinction in various fields. So just a couple of things before we start this webinar. One is that all participants are kindly requested to disable their audio and video. If they want to say anything, they can raise their hand. I see a lot of hands are already have been raised, so you can please put them down. Second, for all questions and answer, I would suggest that please put all your questions in the chat box and put only questions in the chat box. No greetings, please, because otherwise the moderator gets confused as to which is the question and which is not. And feedback form will be shared by Dr. Meena Lok. So you are requested to fill it up towards the end of the presentation. And I also request all the participants to please avoid multiple logins, because what happens when you do multiple logins, there are a lot of other people who are deprived of such kinds of presentation that we are doing in this program. So I think with these words now I welcome Jay once again and express my sincere gratitude to him for agreeing to join this program. So over to Jay Bhatt.
Thank you, Akhtar, and thank you, Sri Kumar, for excellent introduction. I really appreciate it, and thank you for organizing this wonderful seminar. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen now. And I hope everybody is able to see the screen.
Yes.
And my voice is clear, just to make sure everybody is able to hear my voice clearly.
Perfect.
Yes, perfect.
Excellent. So my topic for today is something everybody's fascinated by, Google. But what happens is Google just gives you a search box, and it motivates you to start putting some keywords and you expect that what you're finding is everything accurate and Google. But that's not the case. There's a deep insight within Google. There are a lot of different tricks that you need to get familiar with in order to be able to find the right and really quality information. That is the key, right? So let's get started. So what is happening now? This screen shows you there are different ways that the information is currently available today, whether it is through different media, whether it's through internet, whether it's journal articles, books, websites, images. So the information overload is happening. So you're trying to. There's so much information here. It's like an ocean of information. It's like a tip of iceberg. And uh, uh, but then how do you make a control of that in a, a vast amount of information, and you find the right quality information, and that too quickly and efficiently, right? So what do you do next? And not only that, it is the searching is keep becoming more and more complex because of that. So it's like getting information off the internet is like taking a drink from a fire hydrant. Just imagine that. So you are bombarded with information. You're only able to grab certain pieces of information, and if you're not very clear how to do a good effective search, you're missing a lot of information. And as you know, in today's world, there's so much of fake news happening. You really need to filter it so that you are better educated. And um, and that's why I strongly encourage everyone, when you get all these WhatsApp forwards, make sure that you are reading the right information and do a quick search before you accept and start blindly forwarding those messages to everybody else. And that is going to be a big, big service to everybody, the whole world, and to your own country or India and everywhere globally. So then, can anyone guess what this picture is about? You can go back. I have also a URL here. This is the Mars rover, and this is kind of a project the NASA has to explore what is on the surface of the Mars, something from the astrobiological perspective. So this is the Mars rover, and there are a lot of projects and a lot of curiosity about it. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that our mind has so much of curiosity, and we want this information, we want this knowledge, and how do we find that knowledge? And our curiosity is unlimited, and it is unlimited by the fact that search engines like Google can help you discover vast amount of information, provided we are doing it right. Right. So Google can come to the rescue if uh, we can do this. Uh, think about developing an effective search strategy, not just type keywords, but think about in your mind what could be alternate search terms that you could use that could help you find the relevant information. And in the process, you're also going to develop good quality and background information. If you're working on a business project or a science project or an engineering project, you need to develop sufficient background to be able to go deeper into research. So that's the key thing. Keep track of sources and use them properly. So as you are discovering information, make sure that you uh, have a mechanism to store or save or remember those sources that you have found them in the past. So keep a note or keep some sort of in your some system to refer to those sources again whenever you need. And uh, search with get familiar with the searching capabilities that Google provides. And this is true for all specific search engines or even licensed databases that library provides. Now, remember that today we are only covering Google to find relevant information. So this is what we are exploring, free search interface, but with a goal of finding the right quality authoritative information. But I also strongly recommend that you use the licensed resources from your libraries in your in-depth research, because these are a lot of databases that most of you probably subscribe to in your libraries that are going beyond Google in that sense. So you need to go that way also. And some of the topics we're going to cover today is we're starting with the image source. And one of the key thing is a lot of times we see all this bombardment of images through different means, and we have no idea where that image came from, uh, whether this image is reliable or not. How do we know, right? So can Google help in finding the source of that image so that we can with full of confidence can say that this is the right image and it is not authenticated or fabricated. Um, the next point we also briefly talk about is the copyright accordance. In today's world, people are finding images and sharing images without even realizing that this is a copyright image and they cannot share. So you need to be very careful when you're sharing those images. One question I always wanted to know is, if I have a particular website, how can I only search within that website? So can Google help searching within that particular website and find all the articles information from that website only? Um, how about we can find free electronic books and journal articles, scholarly papers using Google? Can we do that? And can we filter by file types? I just want only PowerPoint or the PDF document. Can I do that? And in today's world, also there's a big proliferation of data. So how do we discover data needed? And we are going to briefly cover that. And also fiction books. So let's get started. And please, if you have any questions, keep note of those questions and start putting your questions in the chat box. And I will be more than happy to respond later, or even later through email. Okay. Can I move this box here so I can see? Okay. So now now our real fun starts, and we start with the images. Image mysteries. I briefly talked about this. Photos with no idea about where the source is, where it is coming from, and how can Google help? And how can we do search by images, and which is called reverse searching. So you have an image, you add that image in the Google search, and the Google is searching across thousands of websites and try to pull up where that image is come from, including the URL, the web address of that source. Okay, so my hunt begins, and everybody has an image. I also have an image, for example, and what do? So just search for Google Images. You can see here that this is the Google Images page here, and you will see search by image. Search Google with an image instead of text. And it is telling you to drag an image, you can paste an image, or you can upload an image, or you can browse your images from your computer. So I have an image on my computer, so I'm browsing it. And when you see that my image I uploaded here, and I click on search here. So this is your camera photo icon to upload the image. Now it tells me there are 5 results with this image. And one of them tells me that this image is coming from this particular URL. So I click on that and it takes me to the website, and it turns out to be that this is actually image from our data visualization zone at Drexel University. And if you just type data visualization zone in Google, you should be able to find this website. And this is a place where kind of a central place in the library to have students think and play with data and data visualization, all those kind of things. So this is now you have an idea how that image shows up. lot of times we have some spare time and we are fascinated by certain things. And my traveling is one of my favorite place area. I love to travel. I love to enjoy and explore different images. And mountains are some of my fascinating places to visit. And one image that I thought about is Jungfrau in Switzerland, and I'm interested in finding an image of that mountain. But remember, it is not just image. I also want to share that image. So how do I find an image that I'm able to share within my within the licensing allowance? It should be a copyright free image. So instead of going to just images, you go to advanced image search in Google. So you type Google advanced image, and you will pull up this screen shot. This is a screenshot of that page, and you will see that if you scroll down, there's an option for usage rights, and there are a few other options within that, but I'm using free to use, share, or modify even something and modify. I can't read what it is, but it's kind of free to share image. And the topic for which I wanted is for this here, Jungfrau Mountain. And when I click go to the next slide and I pull up with one of the links here. So you can see the image of the picture of that mountain. It's a beautiful place. It's fun way to explore nature as well as Swiss Alps. And if I go to the next slide here, actually you scroll down from the previous slide and you will see all the licensed condition. So you can see that this file is licensed in the Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 3.0 unported license. So if you want more details about what this attribution is, just type that in your Google, or you can just simply click on that link and it will tell you that you are free to share, to copy, distribute, and transmit the work, and all these attributions and how you are supposed to give appropriate credit to that source. So very important, if you are using an image, you must give credit to the source of image, even if it is you are able to share freely. So and that is what we want our students to know also, that they need to provide proper sources, appropriate credit, and do not copy and paste or be original in their thinking and writing, so that plagiarism is not doesn't happen. And so there are a lot of issues happening in today's world, and we want everybody to be original and unique in their own perspectives. So this is one way to find quality images. At the same time, you're able to freely share. Okay. Another topic I really want to explore is if we have a particular website, how can we find information only on that website? And this website that ends with india.gov.in, I think you should all be familiar with, is a fascinating website. And I wanted to know what kind of new and emerging virtual classroom technologies are available through india.gov.in site, for example. So what I can do, either I can go to advanced Google search page, like advanced images page, and you will explore the option, or I just give you a simple trick here. In Google, you're going to type virtual classroom, and then you type site, there's a space, site, colon. There is no space in between colon and the first letter of the next word that you want to search for. So india.gov.in is the website in which I want to find all websites related to virtual classroom. And in today's world, right now, the current situation, everybody's talking about virtual classroom, and new emerging technologies are happening in that. So I would like to explore that, right? So let's, I'm giving you a screenshot of that, and you can see here that my search sum appears here, virtual classroom site india.gov.in, and you can actually see all different websites that showed up. So these are sample, just a few sites that is here. And this one in January 2020 looks like a more recent one. Student National Portal of India, Government of India, which is all about virtual classroom, is a replica of the local classroom teaching, and where the students are in the remote locations, right? So then, so a lot of happenings are things are happening there. That's fantastic. And but a lot of times, what happens is that um, you are not finding that information because it is hidden within um, thousands and thousands of websites. So that you should be able to target the quality right information by using certain technologies and tricks. And this is one of them here. Okay, so next thing, I also want to learn about how to find free books in open access books and open educational material. Of course, there are a lot of websites, but can Google help in searching for them, right? And then just remember that we learned how to search within a specific site. So why cannot we apply the same technology in searching for one of the open access websites, like directory of open access books, for example, or open textbook network? There are a number of ways you can find free books in open textbook netbooks and open access books. And in our libraries, we have a nice page, a library guide on open educational resources and open access that you might want to explore by going through our library guides. But right now, we are focused on Google. So we are trying to find a directory of open access books, and within that, we'll search for a book related to, say, for example, business and economics. You can type any topic that you want, um, and you can even just type entrepreneurship or engineering or whatever. And again, we'll follow the same technology. Type and Google, we're going to type business and economics, the keyword, site. And I know that the website for the directory of open access books is doabooks.org. Remember, the any domain like org or .edu usually, or .gov, or they are usually good domains. They are quality websites. And if you are just searching within .com as a domain, com, these are commercial websites, and sometimes you have to be very careful when you only have .com at the end. So there'll be marketing sites, and you'll be biased by how they present information. So finding a quality information is absolutely critical, so that you are not biased by how the viewpoints are given to you on a site. So again, I'm going to go to the next site page, and we are now trying in Google, and you'll see I'm using business and economic site, doabooks.com. So anything about business and economics, there's a number of books showed up, and I chose one of them here called Global Business Strategy, which is a full electronic book, multinational corporations venturing into emerging markets. And you can see it is an open access textbook, and it was part of the Springer Text in Business and Economics series. And then you can be able to actually see download book PDF, full text ebook. You can be able to see it right here. Same question led me to think about how do we find scholarly papers and journal articles, peer-reviewed literature. And in today's world, especially for PhD students, graduate students, and even those of us who are interested in publishing papers in scholarly reputed journals, we need to refer to a number of research papers. But if you do not have subscription to those articles, we are not able to read them. Because some of them are quite expensive. And in today's world and today's situation, some of the publishers have made the articles freely available in this pandemic period. But even then, how can I find a full research papers from a scholarly publication? Are there, first of all, sir, are they available? If they're available, how can I find them? And like Directory of Open Access Books, there's also something called Directory of Open Access Journals, right? So we're going to use the same option. And one of the topic that is that's quite important from the environmental protection and in today's environment to save environment is the renewable energy, right? So a lot of research is happening in that field. I remember that sometime back there was an initiative even in cities like Surat where a tree plantation was happening. So a lot of people were planting trees. That is happening all over, actually. Many countries have taken that initiative. But then, how about renewable energy? What kind of research papers are available? So then again, I use the same technique here. And then now you can see that because I limited to doaj.org department directory of open access journals, you are seeing that all these articles are coming from that domain. And these are all different research papers. And it could be a journal or it could be an article. Renewable energy, environmental sustainability. This actually is a full text journal. And if you click on that, you will be able to see articles, different articles published. On the other hand, this is an open access article. You can see this is an open access journal. It's a whole journal. This is just one of the articles from a different journal. So I think I have more details about this here. So this is the full paper, Renewable Energy, a way of putting an end to environmental pollution and an inexhaustible asset. Again, this is from the directory of open access journals. You can see that it is available in full text. These are the authors. And you can also give you, it also gives you a brief editorial information, double-blind peer review. And this is absolutely critical if you have to maintain the quality of information unbiased. You don't know if you are on a review, reviewing the paper, you don't know whose paper are you reviewing, and the authors do not know who their reviewers are. So that bias is not present. So everything happening, the review is happening in a scholarly fashion without any bias, just based on the quality, and the paper gets accepted, or the feedbacks are given and the improvements are made, and the paper is resubmitted. So this is another way to find a good scholarly research paper. And the number of there's a huge movement is happening in order to increase the content of open access in publishing platforms. Okay. A lot of times we face a situation that we are invited to do a presentation, or the students are required to do a presentation in their classes, and they think that there's not much time left. I have to prepare for a presentation, but to do a presentation, I also want to know how I can refer to some sample presentations that are currently available on the website. But how do I find it? If I just search in google.com and just type this, I'm just going to pull up a lot of websites, but not, and the presentations could be there, but they are hidden among hundreds of websites. So how do I find only the presentations, right? So then again, I can go to advanced.google.com, like advanced images. I go to advanced.google.com, and then you will see a screen with a lot of filtering options, and one of them would be a site or the option, file type option, where you can search by .ppt or limit. And I want educational presentation. I want quality information presented on an educational website, right? So I can limit by .edu and file type .ppt. So how can I do that? So let's go to the next slide. So this is the Google Advanced page. Again, I'm interested in finding papers of presentations on entrepreneurship, vision, and business development. So sort of research on how the vision of entrepreneurship can help us develop a good business, right? Succeed in business or startups, things like that. And I want presentations on that topic coming out of educational institutions. So in the site or domain, I'm just putting .edu here. You could put .org if it is a non-profit organization, or .gov for government, and .com that everybody knows, commercial. And then again, I can see under file type, I select only the PowerPoint. So right now, I want only the sample PowerPoints coming on this particular topic or any topic that you are interested in. And you can browse through different topics, different presentations, select the one you want. Same thing, if I, lot of times what is also happening is that a lot of PDF documents are also available. A lot of authors have their own websites. A lot of scholarly professors and researchers have created the website where they are archiving their own writings or the documents in PDF form. So how do we find only these PDF documents? So we can just go to the same page, change from .ppt to .pdf, so and do your keyword search. Then you will be able to find a PDF document. So this is an example of the same search. So you can see here that I'm searching for articles on entrepreneurship, vision, and business development in educational sites, but file type is only PDF. So and then you can scroll down. You are only finding .pdf documents, so you might want to scroll down and select the one you want. And here is one example of a full paper. I'm just have a screenshot of just an abstract, and it's all about entrepreneurial vision. Is central to energizing and directing the birth, growth, and direction of new ventures. And the whole article, then you can pull it up. And the best part is you have a good source. It is not just any website that you don't know about. And you will be able to see the author affiliation. You will be able to look at where these authors are coming from, their reputation, and you can select that article for your own reference with full confidence. Remember that there is a lot of data is currently being generated, and there's so much data that it is becoming now difficult to find that data. How do I find data, right? Whether it is whether a scientist or a researcher or even any research, they are publishing journal articles based upon their data from their experiments. And a lot of data is on their computers, and they are not reporting it because only they are reporting in journal articles that data that has helped them to write that paper. But finding that data before that data, they have conducted hundreds of experiments, huge amount of data is on the server. They may not have made it available open, so you don't know, but certain initiatives like directory of open access repositories, like directory of open access books and directory of open access journals, are now archiving a lot of data sites. So directory of open access repositories finding a lot of data sets. But how can Google help? How can Google help me direct to those kind of repositories? And that is what we are going to briefly talk about now. Some time back, Google came up with this new initiative called Google Datasets, Google Research Datasets. And this was aimed at helping researchers and students and faculty members. And anyone who is looking for a data could be able to search for within those these datasets directories and find data. So Google can help us find that. And let's take an example here and see if there are any data repositories. I remember that in sometime back in 2015, there was an international aerospace conference in Noida. That is around the same time Sanjay was organizing his conference there. So I happened to go to that conference also, and I did a presentation on uh, aerospace, how using library databases we can help uh, aerospace engineers to find latest information. And one of the topic we were looking at was space debris. In what was happening, that a lot of countries are launching all these satellites, all this into space. Some of them break down, and it was creating so much of garbage. It is so really getting bad because there's so much of space junk flying around in the space. So if I want to know how much of this space junk is available, has any government agencies like NASA or even all over the world has been archiving or collecting data about those space junk, and what different countries are taking initiatives in order to mitigate that kind of junk? How do we find that data, right? Uh, so mega constellations will have a dramatic impact on space traffic. Experts are now turning their attention to ensuring they don't also create dangerous spike in orbital debris, because this is creating danger for the future space missions. Because if these are pieces are flying in there in the space, and it can collide and it can be disastrous. So what do we do? So I go back to my Google datasets research. This is the link, data set search research google.com. Again, you can see it is a Google site, but it's not clearly visible if you only search in google.com. And I'm searching for space debris. And as I type, it came up with this particular link called space debris elimination data. So if I go further down, then it took me to this page, a space debris elimination website. You can see that it is an open data portal. It is also, you can also search in catalog.data.gov, another important website to find data. And you can actually see that more than 100 plus data sets are found on that. Space debris elimination is the first one right here. Orbital debris impact sensor engineering model, also coming from data.nasa.gov. And I think that a lot of countries are collaborating together in this mission of finding space debris and mitigate them for their own benefits. Because in the space is something where a lot of countries are working together on that mission. So, and this is all little information and the description about it. Amount of debris in low Earth orbit has increased rapidly over the last 20 years. Prevalence of debris increases the likelihood of collisions that I was talking about. And so we want to avoid this collisions, and but we need to know how to do that, and we need to know the number of pieces are currently are in a space, and what are the, and that is going to inspire and motivate scientists and engineers to think about developing technologies to get rid of those debris. So there's a huge research happening in that field. And this is from catalog.data.gov website, data catalog, data.gov, and the publisher is Space Technology Mission Directorate from NASA. And again, the details about that project is available right here on Space Debris Elimination page. And it takes you to a website called Statista, which is where the data is coming from, data set provided by Statista. And the statistic provides the number of human-generated space debris floating within Earth's orbit as of July 2013, broken down by size. So it is that minute. It is also broken down by size. And this was a little old, so like 6-7 years old data. So it has probably has even more now. So this is coming from European Space Agency. Um, so it's a very interesting topic. This is really fascinating, and it deserves attention from scientists worldwide to help protect future space missions from all over the world. Statista.com is actually a licensed website, so it requires subscription. Some of it is made available free. Some universities may have subscription to this site. But what I'm trying to point out is Google Datasets is able to help you direct you where the data can be available, from where you can identify and access that data sets. And for any discipline, whether business or engineering or any discipline, you can be able to use it to find data sets. And I mentioned about directory open access repositories. Search for it, and you can also search for that in Google and find it also. And then this is another site here, number of human generated space debris, how you can find data using that. And there's a whole PDF and spreadsheet you can download. Who is the publisher? And you can see that this is coming from European Space Agency worldwide. So this is a quality website, and you can rely on with full confidence. And then today, you want to read all these books. Can I be able to write free fiction books in Google? Can I find those books? In the US and a lot of public libraries, we have access to a number of fiction and non-fiction books through a system called Overdrive. Even Canopy and all those things, we are able to find videos and documents. But how about finding free books through Google? So how do I find it? Again, I can use free fiction storybooks in Google as my keyword and limit to just PDF to see if any PDF documents are available. And I wanted to bring to your attention is this particular link here, which has free novels for teens and young adults, especially your teenagers and young adults. They might be interested in this kind of books. Even I love to read these kind of books also. Even those I love to read even today children's books and young adults. So a lot of many adults would want to read these kind of books. But this is just an example. It has almost 700 free books available in that, and there's a link from where you can be able to find all the details about licensing and copyright information is also available. And try to make sure that you are following the guidelines provided there. You want to give credit for the information that you are reading and using. It's simple. And here is one example from Google, free ebooks through Google. And Google Play has a lot of things you can shop, but there's also something we'll see is Escape with a free ebook. You will have to scroll down in Google Play, and you will see a section on Escape with a free book ebook, and you will see a lot of books like this. How to Survive a Pandemic. It showed up. This probably is a new book. I'm not sure. Yeah, it does. It does say COVID-19 life lessons, coping with COVID-19. So you can be able to read this book for free through by searching in Google Play. There are hundreds of books available there on different topics. And the trick that I showed you can help you navigate through those free ebooks. And here is another important thing I want to show you. This is really funny. These are really fun Google tricks. I'm not, and if you click on this link, you will see funny Google, Google Gravity, underwater Google, Google Mirror, Google Terminal. These are some fun tricks I would like you to explore on your own. These are just fun. Just click on that link. Just go to this website. And these are simply amazing Google projects, like art project is on Google Moon, flight simulator, language tools, Google Sky is there. So I'm giving you an example of Google Sky project and Google Moon project in the next slide. It's like a virtual way to explore our universe in that sense. A virtual universe you can explore here. So these are the link: google.com/sky, google.com/moon. You can be able to see virtual tours of the lunar landing sites narrated by Apollo astronauts. Just there's a thrill of listening to an astronaut telling their experiences as they're landing on the lunar site. 30 models of rovers and landers and so on. And Apollo series, 6 missions of the Apollo program, which lasted from 1960 to 1972, were the first and last times that mankind has set foot on another world. So these are different ways that Google have made you available to trigger your curiosity and knowledge in different any field. Our human mind is infinite. We have infinite potential, and we have born with certain talents, but we can always develop more and more talents by satisfying our curiosity and quenching our knowledge, curiosity, and so on. But it's not just google.com. A variety of ways you can do that, and I've showed you some simple tricks here today. And so before I end, I wanted to give you some final thoughts. So Google has many features that you need to get familiar with, and only way to get familiar with is by experimenting, by hands-on experience. You deep dive into it. If you want to learn how to swim, you got to dive into water first. Same way, if you want to really learn how to navigate through the information world, you got to deep dive and start exploring all these different features that a search engine provides, and you are going to apply that in all the different types of search engines that you use. And remember, as I keep on saying, finding authentic and relevant information is important. You are doing a good service. You're helping everybody by relying on authentic information, by relying on quality information, by stopping the spread of fake information. It's very, very important. Consciously should think before you post or forward anything which you think is doubtful. And remember, we only covered Google today to find relevant information. Our universities have spent thousands of dollars to select licensed databases. And these are, I strongly recommend you to use them for more deeper scholarly insights on the website. I strongly encourage everybody to think about creating a website on your institution where you're housing all that information, which is easy to find it. And the best part, it is indexed in Google search, so people and everybody, your students, will be able to easily discover them. Think about what's happened on social media platforms. You're posting something and then it gets lost and you can't even find it easily. Nothing against all those mediums. It really helps us stay connected. But at the same time, when the question of quality, trustful information comes, your website at your institution with .edu domain helps you, give you a voice in the world of professional information. And my contact information, my name, Jai Bhatt, my email, and my website here. So we are in part of scholarly communications department here. So thank you so much. Again, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity, everybody here. And Dharben, Parallel University, thank you for your help in hosting this presentation. Akhtar, Mehta, everybody else here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So, thank you, Jay. It was indeed a great presentation, let me tell you. And there are some questions. Can I start?
Of course, please do.
Okay. I think one question is from Miss Manmeet Kaur. And the question is like, Google, is there any search engine giving this kind of all searching facility?
Like Google. Again, they may have, I think Google has done tremendous, spent a lot of efforts in creating sites like this. I'm sure that other search engines might have, but you will have to go to that website, to that search engine and explore. And you might want to go to that search engine that you are interested in, go to that advanced features, go to the tutorials. Do you have any particular search engine in mind?
No, I think they all are muted.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for, say, Bing, for example, then you can go to bing.com, and they may, under their help, they may have given some tips on how to search within Bing, but they may have a different kind of mechanism to find similar information. But again, it depends upon how much content they are indexing, what it indexes, and what kind of crawler they are using to pull up that information.
Okay, thanks. There are a lot of other comments like a very informative session, very good presentation. Can you share your PPT, etc. But then you see there is the other question from Mantasha Nadeem Siddiqui. Can we also do the same experiment with the Google Scholar?
You can do Google Scholar, but remember, Google Scholar is only scientific journals. It doesn't have books. It doesn't have websites. If you're trying to find free books, I'm not sure Google Scholar can help you. If you're trying to find websites, I'm not sure Google Scholar can help you. Google Scholar is, their primary mission is to help you find these scholarly paper, journal articles published in different media. And remember that also it depends upon a subscription to you. If you do not have a subscription to that journal article you're finding in Google Scholar, you may not be able to access it in Google Scholar.
Another question from Mantasha: if he wants to search thesis and dissertations.
Okay.
Sir, can you stop your screen sharing?
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Please,
okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. For thesis and dissertations, you can use the same topic, same search, like most of these theses are in PDF form. So you can search by PDF. If you want to know which particular university's thesis are you looking for, you can actually go to that university's website and search for thesis within that directory. I think the Google can find those open access thesis. Now, I'm not sure how many of those theses are available for free. We have a subscription to Quench digital dissertations, but it requires a subscription, and we are able to search across thousands of theses worldwide, and especially from the US, using that subscription. But some of the students in a particular university, they have their open access repository solutions. So, for example, in my university, we archive all the PhD theses from our students. They are available. Shodh Ganga in India probably has that option where you would be able to search for theses coming from Indian universities. Right. I think it is InflibNet that is that initiative. Yeah.
Shodh Ganga and Shodh Gangotri is for synopsis.
Right.
Yeah. So there is one question from Mr. Kutti Kumar. He's asking, is there any data set in Google for agriculture related data?
Yeah, there's a lot of agricultural data. I mean, you can even there are open access repositories on Google data sets, not just Google data, there are open access subject-based repositories on agriculture available, and you can pull it up. And I can email you some of those links also.
Okay. So there is another question. What it says, we get some
Agricola. Somebody's mentioning Agricola here on the chat.
Okay. Okay. So there's another question. he gets some document PDF article which access is restricted. In that case, how can we get the proper information through Google?
What is the question? I didn't get it.
I think it is. I think what he or she wants to know is, in that case, how can we get the proper information through Google? I mean, the person is not sure. You see whether I think they get proper information from Google or not. I think that's what. They want.
So what do you mean by proper information? You have to be very careful when you're searching in Google. If you just search in google.com, you don't know where the information is coming from. So you need to look at the source of information, the authors, who is writing this, their affiliations, their reputation, lot of things you need to look at. So for proper information, there are a lot of different ways you can evaluate, and on our website we have created a tool on how to evaluate information. And a lot of universities have those pages. If you just type how to evaluate information, you're going to pull up those websites. Something that we definitely need to teach our students. In fact, in one of the assignments, we require students, we actually don't give any grade to the student, or we cut off grades if they are just putting .com or .org or without even giving a proper citation. We require them to use the source coming from a journal article or a good book or a website.
So I think these were the questions, but let me tell you, I was very happy to see one thing, that you were focusing a lot on fake news, because fake news is something which is actually creating a lot of problem for all of us. And in the recent times, we have seen how fake news can create problems for the community.
It is creating havoc, Akhtar. It's just tremendously sad that people are just relying on false news that is spreading on their WhatsApp, and they are flocking and creating all these things happening in the world. It's really, really sad, and it really breaks my heart.
Yes, it's really sad. You know what I did very recently, that I went to Alt News website, and I compiled the list of all fake news, because a lot of people, they do not know there is a site called Alt News exists. So I
Yes.
tried to list out all the fake news, but there are so many fake news every day they are coming, that it becomes very difficult. See, after 2 3 times, in fact, I had to stop listing out those fake news. So
Yes.
I think it is really sad. It is really sad. So do you think this alt news, which I mean, you must be knowing about this, I'm sure. So you think they use the Google images for checking the authenticity of image?
Yes. If you know an image, you can, if you have an image, just copy and paste that image or upload that image in Google Images and see if where it is coming from, if it is included. So you'll see the URL.
I see.
In
So
first
that,
slides of Jay Bhatt sir is there. The slide is showing that image.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, in his presentation.
and
And
you,
yeah, please go
and
ahead.
you
Please go
have
ahead.
to be very careful in image spreading. And it's and remember, I'll tell you one experience that sometime back a professor was writing a book, and he wanted to use almost like 400, 300, 400 images in his book. And those images are coming from scientific journal articles for his project. So we started inquiring, and they were all published on a journal website. So we need to ask the publisher, because that is another problem when author give up their copyrights. No longer author is the right, but now the right is with the publisher. So you need to ask the publisher. And the publisher was asking for $500 or $600 for one image to be cited in the paper. So he simply could not do it, because just there's so many, it's really cost, and there could be lawsuits happening if you are using an image without taking a permission from, if it is not on a free to share platform.
I think we have got some more questions, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
So one is that, can anyone get data set from Google in CSV or Excel or ODS format? I think we can. I think that should not.
Yes, we can. And one example I showed you in from that Statista page, it has PDF and Excel. You will see in that slide. And you can actually in Google also you can limit by file type spreadsheet, and then you can type say agriculture data, and you can pull up all the spreadsheet documents with agricultural data in that.
Then there's one lady, Marcy Linda. So she's asking, my question is on copyright. If I collect the open access resources using the tips given by you and create a digital library using GSDL or DSPS, will there be any copyright issue?
It also, again, you will need to look at the source that you are coming from. Look at their every resource. The creator of that source will have copyright information on their page. So you will strongly encourage you to look at it before you use it for sharing.
Okay. And the other question is, how to identify predatory journals and predatory journals articles? So I think, Jay, I have a lecture tomorrow on, this, one of the publishers is organizing that. So I request, Madam, you please see that presentation because it's a separate topic altogether. Then, yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to tell you we were talking about fake news, and last year we had organized an event called Fake News, where we invited students to take an kind of quiz game. We played a game. It's called factitious.com.
Okay.
Factitious. I will send you the link. Factitious. You type factitious, and what happens is that the students are given a news story about from a particular source. They have to read the story, and underneath they have to look at the source where it is coming from and decide whether this is a fake news or right. They have to give a reason why it is a fake news. And there was a competition between two teams. It was really fun as the students learned that this, and sometimes nobody can figure it out unless they go deeper into say that it is really authentic, real news or fake news.
No, you rightly said that. You see, if you want to learn swimming, you'll have to dive in.
You have to dive in. There's no other choice.
There's
And
no
especially the people are getting so smart that they create a scenario or a story in such a way that make you believe that this is the right thing.
Yeah. Now, I'll ask some more questions on behalf of our participants. Somebody's asking about the authenticity of video. How do we check that? And is Google has a mechanism, to authenticate these images?
The authenticity of video. Again, I strongly encourage you to think about the source of that video, where it is coming from. Who is the publisher? Can you rely that publisher? Who are the authors? What are their reputation? And then you can make an appropriate decision.
So there's another question from Preeti Sharda. Can we mix Boolean search with file type search?
Yes, you can. So in fact, my example has Boolean. So I said economics and what else? Business, something like that.
Yes.
And then I used the file type there. So that is not just one word, but it is a Boolean search.
Okay, then Dinesh.
And you can also use quotes. So if you want, you can put something in quotes.
Okay.
And then file type. So
Okay.
you will try to find.
Okay, then Mr. Dinesh Patel, we have received free PDF world link. So can we download free books from that link? I think
yes.
Yeah. We can.
And
then
please share.
He's asking, can we share it with other users?
What do you want to share?
He says we have received free PDF world link. Can we download free books from that links and can we share it with users?
Again, remember that you have to go from where the PDF is coming from, and there will be licensing and sharing mechanism guidelines given on that website, and follow those guidelines.
Okay. Somebody is suggesting that we should have one session on fake news itself. Maybe Jay can help
do
us
that.
on that.
Yes,
That's what I said.
that is
But-
very important. In fact, that was my next suggestion, was to educate our people about fake news. I think.
But how do you do this in the Indian context? You can, huh?
Start from school. Maybe not in the elementaries, but maybe in the 5th standard or 6th standard, because today's kids are also using internet, and I'll tell you, they are the ones you don't even know what they are searching, because they are in their own place, and it's parents have to be very, very careful and see how the kids are using internet.
And somebody is asking, how can we download Google Books? I think that has already been explained, most of the things.
Yeah.
So how do we use a free downloaded book in library? We can find so many websites for free download of PDF books.
And again, a lot of those free downloads I have doubts about, because we don't know where they're coming from, and it has created a lot of problems. And in fact, a lot of publishers are against it, because somebody is hacking the content and making this content available for free, breaching all the publisher rights, and this is a very serious problem that
Yes.
has to be taken care of.
So, I think before we conclude, let me just ask Dr. Meena Lok to please formally thank our guests today. Dr. Meena Lok. Dr. Meena Lok.
Oh,
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Meenal, go ahead.
unmute.
Muted. He's
Hello.
muted.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes,
On
yes.
behalf of Team Management, we thank you, Mr. Jay Bhatt, engineering librarian from Drexel University, USA, for accepting our invitation and delivering such a lively and wonderful talk on the topic, explore some fun Google tricks and quench your knowledge and curiosity. Thank you once again, Jay, for sparing your valuable time for us. And I am sure these Google tricks our library professional will use immensely as far as their profession is concerned. And further, I would like to underline for the importance of the confirming the authenticity of the news, what you mentioned, by using the Google. Mostly we say that, oh, Google, that means you have to check the authenticity of the news. But in contradictory to that, you said you can use the Google tool to check the authenticity of the news. And I think it's a takeaway message for the professional, the same tool which we can use. It depends on us how to use it very authentically. You should know the tricks. That's the takeaway message from the session. And simultaneously, I would like to thank the participants for raising the meaningful question as far as the current session is concerned. So it became more elaborative as such. ManLibNet takes this opportunity to sincerely thank to Parul University as well for their kind consent to use their ICT facilities for conducting this workshop. Also, special thanks to our technical team for coordinating the session effectively. Thanks very much to the entire team of ManLibNet for their shared vision and continued support in this regard. With this, we come to the end of today's session now. We shall meet again tomorrow.
No, not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. Tomorrow there is
Sorry,
no session.
day after. In this regard soon.
Yeah,
So
we'll be meeting. I think Meenal, your voice was breaking. So tomorrow there is no session. We will be meeting on the day after tomorrow.
We will meet day after tomorrow. And
11 a.m.
meanwhile, you are requested to please submit the feedback form. All the participants are requested to please submit the feedback forms for boosting our morale. Thank you so much.
No, for either boosting our morale or whatever. If there is criticism, I think we welcome that also. So,
Oh, we will take it positively. We can improve that.
so with this, I think, Jay, thank you very much, and we hope to see you again, and probably we'll discuss this fake news thing. Thank you.
And
Yes.
I really appreciating you accommodating my time, because usually you have it in 11 a.m. your time, and this is late evening for you.
We should thank you. We should thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
so
much
much.
for
Jay.
your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jay.
Thank
Looking
you.
Thank you.
forward.
I'm very happy to be here and really appreciate all your invitation. Thank you so much. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, Jay.
Bye.
And you can also email me the questions if there are any. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, 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 Jay. Okay, see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.